Yo, what's up? So in this video, I want to talk about wisdom. What is the definition of wisdom? So, if you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, then the definition of wisdom is the reverent fear of the Lord, that is, worshiping Him and regarding Him as truly awesome, is the beginning and the preeminent part of wisdom, its starting point and its essence. And the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding and spiritual insight. For by me, wisdom from God, your days will be multiplied and years of life shall be increased. Now, this is the worldly definition of wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to make sound judgments and decisions based on knowledge, experience, and a deep understanding of life and human nature. So, here goes some core aspects of wisdom: knowledge plus experience, judgment, perspective, emotional regulation, and ethical insight. So let's start with knowledge plus experience. Now, not just knowing facts, but understanding how to apply them in real life situations. A lot of times we may think we know all of the facts to a situation, but maybe sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But the real challenge is how to apply those facts into real life situations can be tricky. And so I believe that it's helpful to have someone like a older person in your life, like someone who's older and wise, who's been through some things in lifetime, some challenges in life, and that was able to make it through the tough times. And people like that can help you a lot, especially if they're sensible, what I'm saying, and they carry themselves the right way. People like that are good to have, in your life, because when you go through things, they can make it a lot easier just by talking to them. And maybe some of the things that you might be going through now, they may have already been through it, and they can help you navigate, figure out how to apply the facts into your real life situation properly. So next up is judgment, the capacity to choose actions that are thoughtful, balanced, and appropriate to context. So judgment is extremely important because in this lifetime, especially if you're working at a job where you're surrounded by a lot of people, you're going to learn very quickly about who makes good judgment, who makes bad judgment. And the consequences of good and bad judgment. And not just at the job, but just in life in general. The people the people you live around, just the things you see on the news. Good judgment is life. It saves your life. Bad judgment could end your life very early just by making bad decisions. And so having the capacity to choose actions that are thoughtful, balanced, and appropriate to context, that right there takes some time. You really have to, in our decisions, we're supposed to really think before we react. But a lot of times, a lot of us are emotional, so we may react to things, just in the heat of the moment, and then we'll take a step back after we done calm down, and then we'll try to think about, try to be thoughtful and balanced and appropriate. But a lot of times we do it after the fact, after we already then blowed up, snapped on people, or we let the pressures of life, get the best of us, and we don't think clearly, and we just do things on a whim, and just making quick judgment and not really taking time to think about what we're about to do or what we should do. Let's see, number 3, perspective, seeing the big picture, thinking about the long-term consequences, focusing on the emotions of others, and multiple points of view. So seeing the big picture is important in life because every action has a reaction. Every action has a benefit or a consequence depending on if it's something good or bad. So seeing the big picture is important because let's say you have a goal in mind, and you think about, let's say you want to graduate from school and be a nurse. And so seeing the big picture for you could be, your graduation day, walking across the stage and you get your nursing degree, or LN nurse, RN nurse, you get you a nursing degree, and you think about, okay, I'm going to walk across stage, I'm going to graduate, get my degree, and then I want to work for a particular hospital or hospitals, depending on, the opportunities. And so if you do the right thing, then, take care of business in school, pass, don't waste time partying and just messing around in the streets. But if you actually, doing what you got to do, studying, taking care of yourself, getting rest, and, then you can, seeing the big picture, you'll be able to make it and accomplish your goals. But let's say if you, half-ass and not doing what you're supposed to do, then the long-term consequences could be, you could, fail your classes, or it can take longer for you to graduate, which will put you behind because now it's taking you longer and longer to get to the finish line. And then you have to, then some of the decisions we make in life, let's say the emotions of others. Let's say, I think about road rage, like when you just get off work and, you're in a hurry to go home, you had a long day and you're all emotional, you're upset, you just want to be away from people. And so from work to home, that's a long ride, especially if you live in the cities where, it's a lot of traffic, and that could be an emotional roller coaster. So let's say, in normal situations, when there's not traffic and when you're not getting off work, you're a calm driver. You calm. You making before you merge into the lane, either lane from the right lane or the left lane. You put on your blinkers, and you let people know you're about to merge over. But let's say when you get off work after a long day, you don't care about none of that, and so now you're disregarding the emotions of others just for the sake of your own benefit, and not being mindful of the emotion of others can cause strife. Especially if it's something that you're doing wrong, or you just completely forget to disregard everybody else, being selfish and just caring about self, then they can really affect the emotions of others in a negative way. And then when you think about multiple points of view, and I feel like having best friends, wise best friends, people who are godly, can help you, make better decisions, because you can be going through something in life or thinking about a plan to do something different. Let's say you want to, run a 5K challenge, jog 5K, whatever they call it. You want to jog, go downtown and jog 2 miles. And so let's say you're not really prepared for it, you ain't really been working out, but some of your friends is doing the 2 mile jog. So you want to join in. So then you tell some of your close friends, like, hey, I want to do the 2 mile jog. And so then they ask you, say, hey, have you been prepared for it? You're like, no, I haven't been prepared for it. Haven't been prepared for it, but I'm so eager to do it though, just to join in on the fun. And so then your friends, they be like, hey, look, I think you need to get some practice in, start, jogging now to go ahead and prepare your body for it, so that you'll be more prepared for when you do go down and do your jog. And so, just getting multiple points of view of different situations can help you see things a lot differently than you just relying on your own understanding. And then emotional regulation, staying calm, being compassionate, and measured in difficult situations. Now, let's face it, in this lifetime, we go through a lot of tough, a lot of trials and tribulations in this lifetime, and it's hard to stay calm. Now, when life is okay, it's easy to stay calm, but when life is, lifing and things is not going well and you're having problems, that's when it becomes a real challenge to stay calm. And so, but it's important to stay calm because, cooler heads prevail. So it's good to just, take some time, think things through. If you have a support group, friends, family, therapists, you can talk to your support group and help you see things differently, so that it can help you stay calm in tough situations and not just rely on your emotions to lead you astray. And let's talk about compassionate. One of the fruits of the spirit is love. Love. So, and when it comes to love, we have to love people regardless of their backgrounds, race, nationality. Just the whole. Just loving people unconditionally, regardless of the differences that we have between one another. Compassion. I believe compassion goes a long way in this lifetime, and I do believe that the Lord blesses those who are truly compassionate, even in tough situations. And when it comes to being measured in difficult situations, just staying calm, saying and not letting the storms of life, drown you, because we all go through storms in life, and life is very hard sometimes. It really is, and depending on where you live in it, life can be extremely difficult. Based on where you're living at. If you're in, let's say, if you're in the Middle East in a war-torn country, life can be very difficult. Especially if it's nonstop war. Let's say you're dealing with economic sanctions, and it just things like that can make life a whole lot harder. Especially, let's say, if you're an innocent bystander in the middle of a war like the Iran and Israel war. There are a lot of innocent bystanders in between both countries, and you got missiles flying from one country to another country. And let's say if one of those missiles don't make it to the intended target and fall in one of the countries that wasn't intended for the attack, and now you got innocent bystanders again, bombed and severely injured and killed, and it's difficult times that we living in. Last but not least, ethical insight. This often includes a strong moral foundation and concern for the well-being of others. Man, it's good. It's one thing to care for ourselves and our family and friends, like the people that love us and we love them, but it's even more important for us to care about everybody. So even people who don't really care about us, just being genuinely concerned about others. You know what I'm saying? Like being a good Samaritan. This is what I think about. Like if someone needs help on the side of the road, now of course you have to be careful. But just if somebody genuinely needs some help, or let's say you're at a gas station and someone who's less fortunate, walks up on you and just asks you for a meal, or just a little bit of money, and if you, let's say you can really afford it, like you can afford to give them what they're asking for, saying, let's say you just give them what they want without any negative feelings, stuff like that is being genuine, and just being concerned about someone else's well-being means a lot, especially within the eyes of the Lord. Like doing stuff for the right reason, like you're doing it because you really want to please the Lord. And so just being generous, and just looking out for the well-being of others. And if you're in a position to help someone, then why not help? What goes around comes around. I do believe that the Lord blesses us for being genuine. Like when we help people, especially when we may not be feeling like it, we tired or we got a lot going on in life, but we still decide to help someone else who's in need, and we help them. We go ahead and help them. We don't do anything crazy like, hey, you owe me and all this stuff. You just do it out of the kindness of your heart. I do believe that the Lord does blesses those who are genuine and kind to others without expecting anything in return. And so this is all I want to say. Talk about wisdom, and I hope y'all have a great day.